Alright, y'all, let's talk today about one of the loudest, most hardworking, slightly chaotic little bird families in Florida. It's the red-bellied woodpecker. You've probably heard them before, yelling from a tree like they've got something really important to say, and you know what? Sometimes they do. Today we're going inside the drama of the nest life, Woodpecker Edition. From carving out a real estate-worthy hole in a dead tree, to raising screaming babies who don't pay the rent, to the big moment when the fledglings launch themselves into the big wide world, ready or not. In my area, every summer, we have red-bellied woodpecker nestlings. You hear this odd hissing sound. I remember for the longest time, I was hearing it. It was like August, give or take, maybe July. And I kept hearing it all around my yard and around my garden, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, what is this hissing noise? And I figured out finally that it was baby red-bellied woodpeckers. But let's go back to the beginning, before all the nest drama begins. There's a little something called bird flirting. You've probably seen the silly videos of those mannequin birds or those birds of paradise doing their weird bird flirting behaviors, but today we're going to talk about red-bellied woodpeckers and what they do. And they don't just dive into parenthood. First, there is a whole courtship routine. The male picks out a few potential nest sites, and he starts tapping away like, hey girl, come check out my carving skills. If the female likes what she sees and hears, they might duet by drumming on nearby trees together. They bob their heads and they call to each other like they're trading compliments. If she approves of his tree real estate, they seal the deal and get to work digging their love nest. It's kind of adorable, honestly. Red-bellied woodpeckers nest in dead trees, hardwoods or pines or palms, dead limbs of live trees, and also fence posts. The same pair may nest in the same tree year after year, but they typically excavate a new cavity each year, often placing the new ones beneath the previous years. I did see this in penny camp. There was one hole above that had the babies and one hole below where there was no babies. So I bet you anything that they nested there last year. So that's pretty interesting. So once they're getting ready to nest, red-bellied woodpeckers lay their eggs on a bed of wood chips left over from excavating the nest cavity. They don't really add anything else to it. They don't put any fluff or like hair or feathers or anything. It's just kind of like the wood chips sitting there on the bottom. Nothing special. They're just like, all right, babies, there you go. Coming into the world kind of rough. When those eggs hatch though, just brace yourself. These chicks come out looking like angry little raisins with mouths. They're bald, they're blind, and they're very vocal. Both parents work overtime, feeding them bugs, spiders, fruit, basically anything that fits in their mouth that has nutritional value. I once watched one cram what looked like a grape and a beetle at the same time. It's chaos, it's love, and it's parenting. In about a week, their eyes will open. By 2 weeks, they're starting to look like actual little birds. You know, still a little scruffy, moody teenagers who won't stop yelling for snacks, but that's parenting, right? You'll start seeing their little heads poking out of the hole like, where's dinner? And the parents, they look tired. I mean, I totally get it. I can relate. Bird parenting is not easy. Now here comes the big moment. Fledging. Somewhere between 24 and 27 days, these babies finally decide to leave the nest, usually with a whole lot of flapping and questionable coordination. They cling to trees, make these weird hissing type squawking sounds, and they try not to fall off branches. It's like a bird middle school, awkward and adorable all at once. So once red-bellied woodpecker babies fledge, each parent often takes a few fledglings under their wing. They actually will split the babies up. Dad might take one or two, and mom takes the others. This division is to ensure each fledgling gets more focus, feeding, and protection. The young birds can't really fly very well at first, so the parents help them cling to tree trunks, hop between branches, and eventually find their own food sources. You'll often see fledglings following adults closely and begging loudly. They continue feeding them for up to 3 to 4 weeks. So even after they've left the nest, the parents will just bring them food, insects, seeds, and just shove those little bugs into their begging mouths, just like in the nest. And they also help defend them from predators. Red-bellied parents stay alert and call out danger or chase away intruders while the fledglings are still vulnerable, especially in those first few days when flying is more like falling with style. And even after they fledge, the parents keep feeding them for a couple of weeks. It's like they're saying, you can move out, but we've got your snacks covered for now. We'll still pay your grocery bill. Now here's the cool part. Red-bellied woodpeckers help the whole neighborhood actually. Once they're done with a cavity, other birds like owls, chickadees, and even flying squirrels can move in. They're like Airbnb hosts of the forest. They also help control insects and spread seeds. Basically, they're noisy, helpful, messy, lovable, all in one little ecosystem. So if you've got a dead tree or an old palm in your yard that isn't posing a hazard, consider just leaving it there. You might be providing a home or a nest for these little families of feisty little drummers. I'm already starting to see them. When I was at Penny Camp earlier this year, probably at the end of May, I saw some nest cavities and I saw some little baby heads poking out. So I'm already starting to hear those hissing noises around my yard. So I know babies have already fledged and they're hanging out in the trees. Thanks for watching Florida Keys Birding and Wildlife. Hit the like button if you've ever been woken up at 7 a.m. by a woodpecker drilling on your soffit or your wall, and subscribe for more behind the scenes bird drama. Have you seen any baby woodpeckers this year? If you have, let me know in the comments. Happy birding.